Hello again, vinyl community, Matt here. Real quick update video. Last weekend I went to Rhino Records in Claremont, California. Took my daughter there, and which is always an interesting experience. And yeah, I picked up a few things, 2 or 3 British releases, which is kind of cool. And that is one thing I find about Rhino, is that they do seem to get quite a few British records in for one reason or another. So I got a few 12-inch singles, I got a few 7-inch singles. So yeah, let's take a quick look. First up is Princess, Say I'm Your Number One, 12-inch single. This was a Stock Aitken Waterman production, and this is one of the earlier hits actually. This made, I think, number 7 in the UK, and I don't know if it was a massive hit here, but I know that Pete Waterman was always very fond of this song, and it's a decent pop song. It's not one of their best, but it's decent. And for $2, I couldn't really pass it up. And it has looks like some sort of extended version, a short version, and a remix on it. But yeah, this was I think 1986. I don't see a date on the back. Let's have a look. It's on the Next Records label. Would not have been on the Next label in the UK, I'm sure, but actually 85. I was a year off, 1985. So yeah, one of the very early successes. Really along with like Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Round. That was their first number 1, but yeah, really pleased to find that. Next up we have 12-inch single of Maxi Priest, Close to You. One of my favorite songs of his, actually, and not one that I already had, so I was pleased to pick up the 12-inch. I don't remember what nationality Maxi Priest is. I liked him as a kid. I liked Close to You. I especially liked his cover version of Wild World, the Cat Stevens song. And this is on a label that I was not familiar with, the Charisma label. Have to admit, not familiar with that one. I'm trying to see if it's an imprint of a larger label. It probably is. Oh, it's Warner. It's WEA. Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, this has several mixes on it. There's 3 mixes on side 1. We've got another mix on side 2, plus an additional track. It says a lot of dust on it, but it's not scratch. It's just a little bit of dust. And still in the shrink, still got the price sticker on it from back in the day. Apparently it cost $4.99. So, but yeah, I don't remember what nationality Maxi Priest was. I always assumed he was British, but he's probably not. But anyway, it's a good song. And next up we have another track that I always assumed was British, but I might be mistaken, and that is 10 City, That's the Way Love Is. This is a really good track, especially the deep house mix that's on here. And then the B-side is I think the B-side has 2 tracks or 1. I'm trying to figure that out. The A-side has yeah, just the 1 track, the deep house mix, and just the 1 track in the B-side too, the underground / extended version, underground mix / extended version. It's on the Atlantic label right there. And yeah, it's a really good, it's not straight up house music in my opinion. It's more pop dance / house. It's kind of hard to explain it, but I remember this being in the charts in '89. It's also on the compilation album, the hits album 10, which I was and still am a fan of. And yeah, again, to find that for $2, and I always assumed they were British because I'd never heard of 10 City in the US, only ever in the UK. Now this is a US pressing, I'm almost certain. I'm trying to have a look at the copyright here. It has a New York address on it, so I'm pretty sure this is a US version. But yeah, again, super excited to pick that up for $2. And I also did get a few 7-inch singles as well. OMD, Forever Live and Die, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. One of my favorite tracks of theirs. I always liked this song. I think it's from '86. Yeah, 1986. It is on, what label is it? Oh, it's on the Virgin label, which you can kind of make out at the bottom. We've got the jukebox cut out, but yeah, you know, I like a lot of their other stuff too. You know, Joan of Arc, Enola Gay, the usual suspects. But yeah, I actually did not have anything of theirs on vinyl. No albums, no singles. So my first one, this was $3, $2.99, probably because it's OMD. And I was like, you know what? I would really like the song, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get it. Even though $3 is a little steep for a 7-inch record, I think. But next one, and again, these are all from Rhino Records. Next one was 99 cents, which I think is a little bit more reasonable. The Mac Band featuring the McCampbell Brothers, Roses Are Red. This was a hit in '88, I think. Yeah, 1988. It's on the MCA label right there, and a reasonable hit in the UK. I want to say it got to see, I should have looked this up before I did the video. I want to say it got to something like number 10. I might be a little off on that, but I think it was like number 10. And it's not a bad track. It's sort of a swing song, swing R&B type of track. It's pretty good. And next up, okay, we've gone a little bit cheesy with this. In fact, we've gone very cheesy with it. But and that is Lambada by Kaoma on the Epic label. Sorry about that. The sleeve is all beat up, but I have a bunch of spare plain white 45 sleeves, so I'll be replacing that. But yeah, let me take the record out. Yeah, Lambada by Kaoma. So the B-side has the instrumental version. I remember this in 1989. This was all the rage, and those of you in the UK might know what I'm talking about. I always, in my mind, associate this song with the Generation Game. Now, the Generation Game was a game show of sorts, hosted by Bruce Forsyth. At least it was when I was a kid. And I always remember the contestants having to like dance to this, and actually having to do like the Lambada dance or whatever it was. You know, the premise of the show was that you had two sets of couples that were facing off against each other, and they had to perform certain skills, and there would be or specialties, dancing. I remember one time they had to do origami. Another time they had to make designer clothes out of trash bags, which, believe it or not, actually kind of was a thing. It's stuff like that. And one of them, they had to dance to the Lambada. I always remember that. But again, you know, this was 99 cents. It's I wouldn't go so far as to call it an 80s classic, but I couldn't pass it up for $1. And then two final items to show. These were not from Rhino, but this was an online acquisition, and that is f.a.b featuring MC Parker, Thunderbirds Are Go. This is a great track. I used to love this as a kid. I gotta admit, I do already have it on CD, but yeah, I've been wanting it for a while, so I picked it up. British pressing. It's on the Brothers Organization label right there. Two different mixes on here. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Thunderbirds was a British TV show. These were all puppets. It was all done in stop motion in the 1960s, and at least yeah, they was British. Somewhat strangely, a bunch of them had American accents, but not all of them. So I don't know what that was about. I'm pretty sure this is British, right? Now I'm questioning it. Now I'm thinking, geez, was it actually American? Nah, I'm sure it was British, right? Thunderbirds, it must have been. But yeah, so Parker is the guy right there, MC Parker. He was the chauffeur to Lady Penelope. I was never that into it, but and you know, it's basically a dance remix. It's a dance track that incorporates samples and clips from the Thunderbird show. And I remember reading that it was suggestive, the song, and I never got that. Now, when this came out, I was 11 years old, so okay, maybe I wouldn't really get suggestive references so much. But even as an adult, I didn't really get that. I thought, really suggestive? Is it really? Until I heard another mix of it, and that's a mix called the Straight Run mix. That's on the 12-inch single, which I don't have, but I do have that mix on CD. And let's just say that the clips are arranged in such a way to make you think that Parker and Lady Penelope, who he chauffeurs around, they have a less than professional relationship. The lines have been blurred a little bit. Let's just put it that way. But the pressure mix, which I think is the one that made the charts, is slightly suggestive, but it's nowhere near what the Straight Run mix is. And so, but yeah, I think I checked the copyright on this, and it's okay to use it in YouTube videos. So I may do a needle drop of this at some point. It's a really, I mean, it's a ridiculous song, but it's also kind of wonderful at the same time. So, and finally, I have the UK version of Now That's What I Call Music '99 CD. My mom's actually in town right now from England, and I asked if she would bring the latest Now album with her. So, you know, I love the Now albums, but the more recent ones are really hit or miss, mostly miss. This one's no exception. I don't like most of the tracks on here, I'm gonna be honest. But as always, I mean, I almost always find one or two that I like. And I didn't know the song beforehand, but Bruno Mars featuring Cardi B, the remix version of Finesse, that's a really good track. It reminds me of, like, I don't know, like Bobby Brown or something from the 80s. And in fact, and that was the idea. If you look at the sort of, well, I don't know if it's not really the cover for the record, because I doubt that they ever released a single of it, but it's like anyway, they're wearing like 80s stuff, and anyway, so that's a good track. I listened to that, and the opening track is Rudimental featuring Jess Glynn, Macklemore, and Dan Kaplan, and the song is called These Days. That was an okay song. The absolute best track on here is a track that is not from 2018 at all. It's a track that's from around 94, Oasis, Live Forever. It was put on there because I think Oasis performed it as it was like a charity thing or something. So they quite often do that with the Now albums. They put like a charity single on there. So yeah, that's the best song by some distance on the album. But speaking of Oasis, that's what we've got playing in the background. The Oasis album that Robert N. Guy very kindly sent to me, well, 2 or 3 months ago. So I got that on, sounding good, sounding great. But yeah, the Now 99. I'm still missing a number of these. I don't have Now 98. I do have 97, but then I'm missing like 94, 95, 96. I think I have 93. You know, I have gaps, which gradually I fill. Every now and then I'll buy 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, but I'm gonna have to get 100. Now 100 will be out in the summer, probably in July, I would think. That's usually when they're released in the summer. So yeah, you know, the Now albums in the UK are a little bit different to the US. It's a double album to start with. You can see it's got 2 track listings for 2 discs right there. And I've always found them to be superior, to be honest with you. But so I only have 1 US Now album. That's the very first one. But yeah, very you know, I was still pleased to get it. I was, you know, had to have it. I gotta try to keep up with recent music somehow. So that's pretty much it. I should have a much bigger update video coming. I have quite a few records coming on eBay. I went a little bit crazy. but I'll explain more in a future video. I'm hoping that those come by next week, but they're being sent like, they're coming from England, they're being sent like Royal Mail, International Economy, which can take like 3 weeks, I think. So, you know, we'll see. I'm hoping by the end of next week they'll be here, because it's already been like 9 days or something since I ordered them. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Do stay tuned. Over the next couple of days, I will see if I can do a needle drop, excuse me, for Thunderbirds Are Go. And that's it. Till next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.